Mi cora no tiene vacante, no. Dejaste la vara muy alta. Creo que me vas a hacer falta. Que te vayas no me quita la felicidad de haberte conocido. Me enamoraste, no me arrepiento, no es tiempo perdido. Este nivel de amor que estoy sintiendo por vos, por más distante que estemos dos, siento que escucho tu voz. No hay guerra donde hay amor. Este amor que yo siento por vos siempre lo llevo presente hasta mi voz. Cantándote a ti, tiempo no perdí. Yo no avancé, en ti lo invertí, pa' que tú nunca te olvides de mí. Sin importar nada, todo te lo di, por si acaso no vuelves. Y sigo queriendo que mucho me duele. Yo te dije que sería para siempre, y siempre será así. Tú ausente y yo sintiéndote presente. Sé que lo puedes sentir. Que es este nivel de amor que estoy sintiendo por vos, por más distante que estemos dos, siento que escucho tu voz. No hay guerra donde hay amor. Este amor que yo siento por vos siempre lo llevo presente hasta mi voz. Mi cora no tiene vacante, no. Dejaste la vara muy alta. Creo que me vas a hacer falta.
Duele quererte, verte con otro de la mano. Si es un mal sueño, ojalá me despierte. No quiero que en vano sea la noche que te desnudé. Me decías no te vayas, bebé. Al final fuiste tú quien se fue. Solo me quedé, pero voy a salir. Pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir. Te voy a llamar cuando eso pase, quíteme el celular. sientes. Ando desenfocado, no estés en mi lente. ¿Cómo se miente? Estoy en el baño y recuerdos, de todo me acuerdo. De esas locuras cuando estábamos cuerdos. Sabes que recuerdo, de todo me acuerdo. De esas locuras cuando estábamos cuerdos. Sean las noches que te desnudé, me decías no te vayas, bebé. Al final fuiste tú quien se fue. Solo me quedé, pero voy a salir. Pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir. Te voy a llamar cuando eso pase, quíteme en el celular. Voy a salir. Pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir. Te voy a llamar cuando eso pase, quíteme en el celular.
Three, two, one.
Your countdown's on, Kinsman. That
Yes.
means you have to work now. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's time to put the blinders
Yeah.
on for
The
a Tuesday
blinders
night.
on.
Yeah, we're putting
Can
the
you say
blinders on.
something more interesting?
We're putting our we're focused on
Focused?
Yeah, on
Now,
a
wouldn't-
big show tonight.
Wouldn't be putting your blinders on meaning unfocused though?
No, put your blinders on so you're not distracted.
You ever see those TikTok videos where you get like the words are written for you? Sometimes I need that with your descriptions. Blinders mean
You need,
it's work time.
It's work
Okay.
time, and we've
Okay.
got Ronnie working. He's working from
Yeah.
home again. He pulled that card.
See,
on us.
Kinsman, I love my job so much I don't consider it. You consider it work,
Working from
I consider it fun time here, pal.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
right.
And again, we get to see amazing faces here in this community.
We do, and
We
we're going
do,
to introduce
yeah.
one soon. But before we get there, you have like a poker hand on you.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, a poker hand
Yeah, what do you got
of
there, pal?
Imagine Cinema passes.
Okay.
Captain America opening up on Friday. And again, we've got 4 tickets to go see that if
Mm.
you choose. And how about a family deal, 1 hour of bowling from Midtown Bowl? And one
That
lucky
looks-
winner
that
will
looks
win
about as
all of this.
Glaring as my head there, Kinsman.
Well, trust me, yeah. One family deal includes your shoe rentals. That's good up to 6 people in a lane of fun at Midtown. And again, 4 passes to Imagine Cinema.
Yeah, and I think doesn't a family deal include game cards?
That's the ultimate.
The ultimate?
The ultimate family
Well,
deal.
we might
No,
have
this
a
is-
couple game
this is-
cards here we can
Well,
throw
we can
in.
toss it.
Don't be so cheap there,
All right.
Kinsman. Throw
Well,
in a
you know
game
what?
card.
Let's throw in a few game cards.
Be a little fun, you know? Throw your blinders on and throw in some game cards.
All right.
Whatever game
Yeah.
cards we have, we'll throw those in, and all you need to do is comment on the show.
And that's all you have to do, and then that gets you in
Yeah.
the front seat
Yeah.
for the Wheel of Winning.
So,
Comes up at the tail end of the show.
I want to
tonight.
say something here before we get on to it. I take everything I said back last night about the Kanye West commercial. It's now, I give it a 0 out of 1,000. Okay?
Well,
because I
because-
found out some information about Kanye last night.
Well, we were talking about that.
And-
Tracy and I were talking
yeah.
about that after.
So I said he had a genius marketing commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found out what he was selling after, so I give him a 0 out of 1,000. I strike that from my favorite commercial now, Kinsman.
Well, apparently,
Yeah.
apparently they knew he was going to play the commercial, but he changed it mid-flight the minute it played.
He played the commercial, but he changed what he was selling.
The minute it
yeah.
started airing at the
So,
Super Bowl, so
listen.
whatever was on there, fluffy
Yeah.
sneakers and
Yeah.
whatever else,
That's right.
to something else.
So I give him a
Yeah.
0 out of 1,000 now. Okay,
Yeah,
He-
sneaky.
I strike him from
Bit
my
of,
favorite commercial.
yeah.
Because I don't like what he did there. So I just wanted to say that. Because you came in and you were waving your finger, your disappointed finger
I was
at me.
disappointed. I said,
Yeah, you're-
why are we airing that? Tracy asked me that when we got
Well, hold
home.
on. The commercial's fine. You don't
Well,
have
it's
to
the
tell me
way
about your...
of marketing. No, but it was what he was
Yeah.
selling when people went to that website.
Yeah, that's right. The commercial was fine. But you came in with your sour grandpa finger fingers. I'm like,
I
well,
did.
Every day you do that, though.
I did.
So
I did.
every day. So I'm like, I
hey.
usually ignore it. Then
I'm
like,
still getting the F off my lawn stage from my birthday.
But now that I've seen what he was up to, I give him a 0. So I just want to tell you that, pal. You were right for once. Yeah. Well, Louise, he was selling a very naughty T-shirt, and I don't even want to recognize what he was doing.
No, we're not recognizing what he was doing.
You can definitely Google it and find out, because we don't support that at all.
Yeah, someone getting their knuckles wrapped at the Super Bowl.
Knuckles
wrapped.
Yeah. Anyways, Kinsman, so you were right for once. Are you proud? You went home and we're all sour.
I was.
You go sour.
Well,
You're
Tracy
sour
brought that up to me. She's like, do you know what was at the end of that website? And then,
yeah. The website was funny. Anyways, listen, I wanted to give you an up, so I've changed my rankings. All right, we have...
The banana one still wins.
We have an amazing guest tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
As the election's coming around the corner, you know, as they say, throwing the election hat into the ring. We've got a young tyke in the studio here who's putting his hat into the ring for the NDP. Timmins and the provincial NDP, you know, to represent us. And he is joining us right now. We've got Corey Lepage.
How you doing there,
in
Corey?
the studio.
Yeah, that's
57
right.
hot seat tonight.
Young tyke, Kinsman.
Corey,
have you ever heard like that word in your life?
I've heard it from Gilles, and that's about it.
That's right. So
Gilles might not be
well,
very
I'm just saying he's a young and feisty and throwing his hat into the ring.
Gilles and Mark being around the same age, I get that, but I would not say young.
You just celebrate half a century there.
Yeah, but sometimes it's in presentation value there, Kinsman. But we're going to find out, listening more about Corey's story. Yes, he's from a younger generation, but comes with a ton of experience. So that's one of the first questions I asked you. You know, you're 24. You let everyone know you're 24. But in the political world, you have you have some significant experience already.
Absolutely. So I've worked on Gilles Bisson's campaigns a number of years. He's convinced me to help him since before I was able to vote. So I understand what it is to do an election, a campaign. I've had experience as a CFO. I've had experience door knocking. I've had experience talking with people about issues and policy. So it's nothing new to me. The new part, obviously, being that I'm the candidate this time around. So we're flipping the hat around on that one. But it's been really great. And it's been fantastic being in the seat, being the candidate this time around. It's been really fun. But like you were saying, it's not a complete surprise. I'm used to the process, and we were able to start running on the ground as soon as before the campaign was even started. So it was good.
I think. Well, once of all, I think that's an important story to tell, because one of the things people look for is they say, well, do they have enough experience? And that's a great message. I mean, politics have literally been in your blood, in your family. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And number two, like, you've ran campaigns, the CFO, so you have significant experience. It's not just someone who decided one day, oh, maybe I'm interested in joining politics, I'll run for this election.
Not at all. So
yeah.
This is something I was planning since before I was even 16 years old. I remember telling my classmates while I was running for class president in 8th grade and even in high school, I've always known that politics is something I was going to get into. Didn't think it would be this early on, but here I am. The opportunity came forward, and at the end of the day, I knew that I was ready to get the job done. I knew I was capable of doing it, so I decided to seize it. Yeah. And that's as simple as that. And now here we are, a week and a half into the provincial election campaign, and things are going great. And as you were saying, experience is very important. My age does play a factor as well, but at my age, not speaking of experience, what I offer is I'm ready, I'm committed. I bring a new energy to the table, and I bring a drive to the table to represent the people at Queen's Park, and that's what I'm going to be doing as our next MPP, right? I represent a different generation, a younger generation. I believe that we have different ideas, new ideas on how to resolve the issues that we've been dealing with for a long time, different perspectives, new ways of looking at things, and I think that's really important as well.
It is. So when you, just to back up a little bit, because Mark and I mentioned this to you when we were at the kickoff of the opening of your campaign at your office. We tip our hats. You like that one, Kinsman?
Yeah,
that's what you and Jill said that back in the day?
Well, we tip our hats to people who, not only say or type online saying, hey, you know what, this should be done, but seeing people stand up and throw their hat in the ring.
It's a big thing. So
huge.
anyone that's running in the political ring wants to make a difference for their community. And some folks have a different driving directions how to get there. But it comes with a lot of things. It comes with a lot of rewards, but it comes with the back end of because everyone has a different perspective of what's going well and what needs to be improved. So I assume you might have had a benefit of politics being in your family. You can have those discussions with important family members because that's a family decision when you decide to run in a very public forum. It has to be. It's not just a Corey decision, it's a family decision, right? So the benefit of having family in politics, you probably had those good discussions with them before you took the step forward.
Oh, absolutely. And even just because I won't say my whole family is politicized, right? But at the end of the day, it's just my family has been extremely supportive of my decision. They know that it's always something I want to do. They see it in me since I was young, and it was no surprise when I announced it to my parents and to my sister and my friends and family. It was, oh, okay, cool, we're 100% behind you. So that was really amazing to get support like that from my family and friends, and it really did help me make the decision. Although I knew that even before speaking to anyone, it was a big decision to make. I thought it over quite a bit. Because, like you said, getting into the political scene is not something that you need to take lightly. It's something that was a big decision. Your name is public. Not everyone will agree with you, like you said. But I've always been the type of person that has an open mind, and I've always been willing to speak to anyone. I've had my political opinions for a long time. I've always been politically involved and engaged. I've always been able to talk to people that I don't necessarily agree with, and have an open mind doing so, right? So at the end of the day, that's what matters. Being able to speak to anyone, no matter if you agree or not, is just having an open mind to things and being able to respectfully talk to each other about issues, because we're not always going to have the same thought process or the same path forward, but we all agree that there are issues that we need to get a hold on and work on for our community. So.
And Natalie and a couple other comments I'd mentioned, it's great to see younger generations in politics because
sure is.
As we get into a lot of the things that you want to talk about that are important to you, which match what's important to me and many folks in the community. To me, if someone asks me what generations are we missing, I'm going to say it's the front end and back end. And the back end, to me, is most important, our seniors. And I don't have the answers to this, but I feel like we need to do more for our senior community. Yeah, and I'm not a politician, so I don't have all the specifics.
That's why
politicians don't have all the answers either.
When I hear that our food bank is utilized by 70-75% of our senior population, that's devastating to me. When I see seniors that are ill or passing away alone without any support, I take issue with that.
Absolutely.
And then on the flip side, it's our younger generation. We need people to want to stay and invest in our community. So are you in line with that, with these? There's lots going on here, but do you feel we need to do more for both sides of the generations?
It's pretty simple. As MPP, we have a wide range of people living in Timmins, whether you're young, whether you're old. We need to take care and represent everyone throughout Timmins. Everyone has issues that affect them more personally, and they're as valuable as anyone else's. We need to take care of our seniors. We need to make sure that they have exceptional care, because they're the ones that have been building our country throughout their whole lives. We also need to make sure that our younger people have the opportunities that they need to stay here in the North, to have a good life, to want to settle down with their family and get a good job here as well. So, and eventually we're all going to be there, right? We're all going to be at a point where we need more help, where we might need retirement housing or more services when it comes to healthcare. I mentioned this last time too. My dad had a stroke 3 months ago. He's been in the hospital for 3 months. He's going to be going to a retirement house next month or so. So I am really aware of that perspective in that world as well, because I might not be at that point yet, but I have family members like my dad who are living that right now. Mm-hmm. And I want the best for my dad as much as possible, and I want everyone in our community to be able to have that kind of quality of life and to have access to the services that they need, whether they're my age or they're at the age of retirement.
And when you talk about healthcare, doctors, that is on your campaign to bring more doctors to the North. Now, what would you be doing to entice doctors to maybe drop the anchor here and come and stay employed here in the North for us?
Well, the NDP has a platform, has a plan that they've been releasing, and I think it's a good plan. What's clear is that for the last 7 years of a Conservative government, things have been getting worse, unfortunately, for the people of Timmins and all over across the province. And we need to hire more doctors and family healthcare professionals. That's just plain as simple as that. We need more specialists in Timmins. We can't keep having people to go out to Barrie and Toronto and Sudbury and all over the province just to get services that they need here in Timmins. You can't have a wait list of 3-4 years to see a specialist. It's not realistic, it's not practical, and it's not working for people. So the NDP has a plan to hire more doctors throughout the province and to cut red tape, because that's a big issue of what things are, of why the process is so slow right now. We have a lot of foreign educated and qualified doctors in Ontario who are living in Ontario and working elsewhere because they're ready to get to work, but the process is lengthy and complicated. So our plan is to cut the red tape and get the doctors and healthcare professionals, so RNs, nurses, all across the board, who are ready to work and qualified to work, to get to work. And that's a big part of the plan.
Yeah, it is.
And specifically, actually part of the NDP platform for Ontario is that they're precising on the north, which I think is really nice. You don't often see platforms for a provincial party that focuses certain policies around the north. What they want to do is make sure that we get 350 more family doctors and healthcare professionals specialists in the north, and they want to build a North Command hub to make sure that if that's not enough or whatever it is, that we get the services and the need to communicate that what we do need more, if we do need more services or help across the board after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's so much going on, and you mentioned something interesting when we met you. You call it a snap election. So I assume snap election is something that we may have not been expecting.
No, I haven't
something
seen one
on
in
a
while.
snap
Yeah,
here,
exactly.
a snap election, and sometimes with a snap election, you're saying the voter turnout may be less than anticipated. And I was chatting with you when you came in. It's always been, you've always seen the message, you exercise your right to vote.
Exactly.
And what I love the fact talking with you, and you're going door to door and campaigning, not only are you talking about your platform, you're encouraging people to get out and exercise their voice no matter where the voice leads them.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the most important thing that anyone can do when it comes to election time. Go out and vote. You don't have to vote for me, although I'm encouraging you to do so. But it is your right to vote. We've had people fight for this right that we have today, and the fact is that voter turnouts in past elections, municipally, provincially, have not been high. This snap election that Doug Ford decided to call in the middle of winter, so that doesn't help things either, you know. People who have accessibility issues or mobility issues are a lot less likely to go out and vote in the middle of winter too, let alone pay attention to what's going on. Elections were supposed to be in over a year from now, and it is what it is. We're in the middle of the election now, so we're working very hard to make sure that we're reaching people. I'm out at, whether it be events, door knocking, or even today and yesterday, this week, we're at public outings like grocery stores and stuff like that. And you do come across, believe it or not, I do come across people who say they won't vote for me, and that's fine. And what I always say is that I hope that at least you go out and vote. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing. We need people to exercise the right to vote, because if we want change in Ontario, if we want change in Timmins, then we need to have our voice heard, and that's the biggest way that you can get the job done, is going out to vote, whether it be on election day or advanced pollings. And we're encouraging people across the board. We're making sure that they go out and vote, and we're making sure that they know where to vote, when they can vote, and we're doing as much as possible to get that message across.
What is the NDP's thoughts around? Everyone knows, like, the cost of living's just, it's skyrocketed. Yeah. And there's always an anticipation. Like, we understand, and in 1950, you'd be able to buy a car for $2,000, $3,000. And today, you can't do that, because the cost of living, there are increases in living, the wages go up. But the disparity between the wages and the cost of living, the gap is huge now. And folks are just struggling to get by. And used to, a single income family was struggling, now a double income family struggling, and even a quadruple income. And I mean, like, mom holds 2 jobs, dad holds 2 jobs.
Multiple jobs in the family.
And those folks are barely, like, they're struggling just to keep the lights on and feed the family.
And buying groceries, yeah, absolutely.
Buying groceries, just the essential. Never mind the perks of life, being going out for a dinner or to the movies or go bowling. Like,
For a lot
most
of
people can't
people,
afford
it's
that.
not
You're just
even an
trying to
option.
make ends meet.
Gone are the days where you're looking forward to the summer vacation because you're worrying about the roof over your head. So,
right.
what is the NDP platform of sort of like adjusting our cost of living?
Well, there's a number of things that they're saying we're going to do, and before I even get into policy, like at my age, we've grown into this, right? We've lived. This is all we've known. I'm a renter. I know how expensive rent is. I know how expensive it is to buy a home nowadays as well. And people who are making a wage that used to be considered, even 5-10 years ago, a wage that would have been considered a very good wage, a livable wage, is now not even enough to sustain everyday life. So. That's what we need to work on, the price of groceries. So the NDP is proposing grocery rebates to help people so that they can make sure that they can at least afford food on their plate at the end of each month. It's going to be catered to, how many people you have in your household. Do you have children? Do you live alone? Stuff like that. But that's one way that the NDP is proposing to help families across Ontario to be able to afford bare necessities like groceries. Everyone deserves to have enough money to pay for groceries, to feed themselves, to feed their children. We're also looking to we can get into things like the housing crisis, the rent across Ontario and in Timmins. There's one thing to talk about groceries, but also just being able to have a roof over your head, like you were saying. At my age, I'm 24. If we hadn't mentioned it already, so at my age, it used to be considered normal. Okay, at this age, you buy yourself a house, you settle down, but at my age, that's not really possible. It's not the reality for a lot of people at below the age of 30 anymore. And I don't just see it from personal experience. I see it as being a financial advisor and doing mortgages as a job. I see people my age who come to get a pre-approval, and I have to tell them, okay, well, you might need to wait another year or 2 or 3 before even being able to afford a home because, they already have a vehicle. So you can't afford a home at the same time. That's just not something that's sustainable. And like we were talking about older generations as well, we're seeing people who can't afford to live without going into debt. So when someone comes and they need to put their mortgage back on 25 years at the age of 50 years or 60 even, they're going to have a mortgage until the day they die. And that's just not how life used to be and how people deserve to live. So we're going to build more houses across Ontario. We're going to bring back rent control for unaffordable rents. And I want to make there's a big difference between, so I know a lot of people in Timmins across the province who are just everyday people. They live in our community and they own a secondary home and they rent it. But there's a big difference between that and big corporations from down south who come in and purchase our homes in Timmins and renovate it and then flip it and put it up for rent for unaffordable prices. And that's what we need to crack down on. We don't need big corporations from down south coming to purchase our housing and putting it up for rents that no one can afford.
Right.
So that's a big part of it as well. So in terms of housing and groceries, those are the big plans that the NDP is proposing.
I always
Those
felt
rebates are great,
that the system is completely backwards. To me, if you can sustain a rent for $2,200 a month, you can definitely afford a mortgage for $1,200 a month.
That's the
and
problem.
essentially the same home, the same bill, because I've seen homes around like where we live, the rent for that home and the mortgage for that home, the mortgage is like $1,000 cheaper a month. So to me,
ridiculous.
this system is completely, you should need a pre-approval to rent, not to buy a home because it costs a lot more.
The worst part is it doesn't show on your credit, so you could be renting for 10 years and still have, it doesn't impact your credit when it comes to applying for a mortgage, which you need to have good credit for. So like you were saying, it's a whole system that doesn't make sense, especially for the position that we're in today. And we simply need to get things changed.
It is, and I think everyone deserves an opportunity to purchase a home. And then what you do with that and build your credit and make your payments, it's up to you. But I know folks that are in their 50s and 60s and who have never owned a home because they're just struggling to pay astronomical in rent and all these other bills, and they can't build up the portfolio to get approved. And I don't find that being the Canadian dream.
I absolutely agree with you.
And you should be able to put that on paper saying, hey, I can afford this for rent. This should be
the way I see
proof that we could get a mortgage.
The way I see it is the Canadian dream means that you should have access to the essentials of life. That means a roof over your head, food on your plate, and health care in case that you need it. Things that you need to survive should be accessible to the people in Canada and people in Ontario and people in Timmins. And I'll get into a little bit of a different aspect when it comes to affordability of housing too later on, when it comes to property taxes as well, because that's a big factor as well. Property taxes have gone up, and in big do that's because of the province downloading a lot of services to municipalities. So that means that municipalities are now in charge of maintaining a lot more of their own roads, are in charge of more things like taking care of encampments, mental health services and living spaces, stuff like that. That used to be the province's job. So now the municipality has so much more on their plate that they need to they have had to raise municipal property taxes and able to afford these things. So another thing the NDP will be doing is retaking those responsibilities onto the province so that the municipality can focus on things that really impact the community and for things to be more affordable for people to live in Timmins.
Yeah. Very well said. There's so many things. I wasn't even aware of that was the cause of, but you're absolutely right.
Well, one of the causes, of course, yeah.
I know people that are in threat of losing their home because of what they owe in property taxes.
Oh yeah, you see horror stories working in the finance sector with those kinds of things, and it's never fun because it's just, that the person who's in this situation obviously didn't want to be in this situation, but it's just how things happen. Sometimes you have things happen in life and you can't afford them, and you eventually leads to something else, and you end up losing your home, a worst case scenario, and it's just nothing you ever want to see happen to people.
No, you never want to see
Very
that.
unfortunate, yeah.
No, and again, the average person, there's a lot of people out there, paycheck here or there, away from, having it completely tailspin.
And, exactly, people are more and more living paycheck to paycheck. I haven't received it yet, so I can't say for myself, but Doug Ford was sending $200 one-time rebate checks out this month, and okay, sure, so that'll help us for this month, but what about the rest of the year? It might help you buy a bit more groceries for this month, but it's not a solution. It's not a permanent solution because it's doing nothing for the people of Ontario moving forward, and I think we need better ideas and new solutions.
So you think those types of rebates should be monthly, like your grocery rebate of what $150, or depending on your number of people in the household, would be a monthly rebate?
That's the plan for us. The grocery rebate will be a monthly rebate depending on how many people you have in the household. If you're going to offer a rebate, it can't just be a one-time rebate because it's going to help people once, and then the rest of the year it's not going to help anyone. If you're going to offer those type of things, it needs to be a permanent solution.
Yeah, that's right.
That eventually also, you got to be working on eventually bringing down the cost of living so that maybe one day you might not need those rebates anymore.
There's so much going on, and I find because we've had such a dramatic turn since COVID, that more and more people are, you usually have a balance of people that are at least sad. No one's ever really happy, but satisfied the way things are going, or displeased. But more and more people's eyes are open because since COVID, we seem to be in this downward spiral. Yeah. The fact that we don't have an operational federal government at the moment, well,
it's kind of sketchy right now. We're skating on thin ice up here.
The president down south may be walking over us or not.
Yeah, tariff talks and all sorts of tariffs.
Right. So, there is more and more turbulence. Now, on the back end, there seems to be a little more Canadian patriotic pride, which is good. But we need to bring some of that back. So do you find on this campaign going door to door, it's more about what needs to be fixed? And I get most campaigns are about what needs to be fixed. But are you seeing more and more of that people are just fed up and want something done now compared to what you've seen working with Gilles and other campaigns? It's
hard to say because you get a lot of mixed reactions, a lot of mixed engagement. I think for the most part, people will always continue to have hope in their hearts. People are always positive that things will get better. And I think that's still the case now because things can't continue to get worse. We need a new way forward, and that's just how it is. People know that we need change. People have hope. And I think that's an important thing to hold on to as well because we can't lose hope. We know that things need to get better, and we will work on getting things better. And door knocking and even speaking with people out in events or across the community, again, you get a mix of a little bit of everything. Some people are very tired of the way things are. They're angry. they're angry that they don't have a family doctor and they haven't had one in 3+ years, or having to be on a wait list to see a specialist for, again, 2+3, in some cases 3-4 years at a time in Timmins, or having to travel down south all the time because they have medical issues that that need it. And it's clear that the issues that we're living with today have been an ongoing issue for a long time. And it's also important to remember that we're not the only ones. We're not alone facing these issues. It's across the province, and in a lot of cases, it's across the country. So, like you were saying, there's nothing that'll bring Canadians together like having someone like Donald Trump threatening Canadians. And I think that's been a really great thing to see, people coming together and coming back to realizing that we can still work together, even if we don't always have the same opinions, and we're still neighbors at the end of the day. I think in general, people just, I'm glad to see that people are still holding on to hope. They want change, and that's what we're working to try and get people change, better way forward.
It's nice to see people, you know, spending Canadian dollars and keeping the money,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
north of the border,
People
especially
are
with all the
motivated
tariff
right
talks.
now.
You know,
Absolutely.
he's imposing, what, a 25% tariff on aluminum and steel, you know, so.
It's very, no one knows what Trump's going to do at the end of the day. And I do hope that our federal leaders get their cards in order, and that we're able to have solid leadership at the federal level. I think that leadership at provincial levels are also very important, which is why I believe it was such a bad time for Doug Ford to call this election. He's been saying this whole time that we need solid leadership on the provincial level, and then he goes and calls an election. You know, like, that just creates more uncertainty and more unstableness. We need a leader in Ontario that we can count on, will be stable, and that will lead us through whatever has to come in the coming years. And that's what our party leader, Marit Stiles, for the NDP. I've met her a number of times. She's an amazing leader. She's down to earth, and she has a drive just like myself to bring real change for the people of Ontario. So I think it's great that we have that type of leader for the NDP, and I'm very excited to see what this election comes on the 27th when people go and vote.
We have a comment. We have a lot of great comments, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of great.
And this one's from Lorraine. I want to bring this up because I believe you're going to be attending a press conference tomorrow around this issue. So Ronnie can post it. We'll read it here. Lorraine says the trucking license rules need to be changed. These schools are pumping out drivers that need to be shut down. Way too many accidents and deaths happening on the highways. At the same time, road conditions are deplorable. Snow removal companies need to be held accountable. So yes, we are seeing an uptake in highway fatalities.
Yes. And it's very unfortunate.
Right.
You know, we have, living in Timmins, we have a lot of smaller communities around us, like Smooth Rock, like Cap, like Rico Falls, everywhere around us, where we have family who often travel back and forth. And it's really sad that we need to constantly be worrying about our family members and friends who are traveling on our highways any time of the year, really, specifically during winter. But you're always worrying because the conditions are sometimes so bad, and there are far too many fatalities happening. You have to forgive me because I forget the name of the person who posted that comment, but I completely agree. Lorena. I completely agree with the fact she's right. The way that we train our drivers in Ontario needs to change. It's too easy to hand out licenses right now. People who are on our roads operating large transports, we need to make sure that they're capable of driving these large transports, and they're safe, and they're driving safely. And it comes down to that. And also we need to make sure that our highways are properly maintained, like she was saying. We need to have more resting areas. We need to add more passing lanes. But yes, very importantly, we need to make sure that the people who are driving these transports are driving responsibly, are driving safely, and are properly trained in the first place.
And highly educated before hopping behind the wheel of the transport. You know, there's a video circulating around now stating that, you know, some trucking schools, you can walk in there. The one question was asked, when can I start? Do I take a couple weeks in school class? The guy said in the video, it was an undercover video, you could be driving by the end of the day.
Yeah,
so again,
it doesn't make any sense.
They need to crack down on these types of
I think this is an issue that anyone could get behind. It's an issue that the NDP in the North especially has been advocating for many years, and we need to take action because these are people's lives at risk and people's lives that are being taken. And it's like I said, constant worry of our family members, our friends who are traveling our highways, that we aren't even sure if they're going to make it home safely. So it's an issue that is affecting everyone in Timmins across the north. It's an issue that needs to be changed, and we need action.
I always thought that the Wild West, we'll get to that, we'll get to Debbie's comment in a second there, Ronnie. Another great comment, thanks Debbie. But I always thought in the Wild West, they had it right with the railroad system. We invested a lot of money in a railroad system to go coast to coast. To me, it's the safest means of getting a package across country. It's just the train going across, but we got away from that. You may have to wait for your package an extra day. The railroad system could be a little bit slower, but that would eliminate a lot of the trucks on the road. And I thought we went backwards with that. I always joke, Billy the Kid had it right. Even though he robbed them, he didn't build them there, Kinsman. But that era had it completely right. We had it right a century ago. To me, we should have stayed that way.
I think it just comes down to proper funding in these types of infrastructure and transportation means. I think that, railway is a solid means of transportation for a lot of things. It could eliminate the tens of thousands of transports who are on our highways each year, and there are a lot more than there used to be. That's just that's a fact. So you might be onto something there.
Now, I just wanted to get back to Debbie's comment. She said her dad drove truck for 60 years. Wow, 60 years.
That's quite the career.
It took 2 years to get his license to be able to drive on the highways and freeways. And if one mistake was made, he had to start the 2 years all over again. That's the way it should be. He did deliveries around the towns that he was in, and that's it. 2 years, no highway driving whatsoever. So he started off on the roads.
Yeah, there's got to be really tough consequences.
We need to get stricter on how we get these licenses to our truck drivers, and we need to make sure that our roads are better maintained. It comes down to those two very important things.
The problem we're facing now, and I'm going to put my human resources hat on, is that 30, 40 years ago, it was an employer's market. You had one job, you had 100 applicants. The baby boomers are working. Nowadays, you have one job, no applicants. It's because the baby boomers have retired. So companies, from a human resources standpoint, I know this, Ken's been working 2 decades, have relaxed their policies, their rules, their regulations.
To let people in.
They're screening because they need employees.
Yeah, they need them.
And hence,
rapidly.
the dramatic effect is that people are unqualified or untrained or rushed through training. There is some serious implications to that.
In any case, whether it's trucking or other industries, you're right on that we need people to fill these jobs, and there's not enough people to fill them. But we can't put anything above safety. And it's as plain as, I can't put any simpler than that. Safety, when it comes to our highways, is the main priority. We need to be stricter in the way that our process works in getting licenses out to our drivers.
100%.
1,000%. And everyone's had an experience, even with like a near miss on the highway. Anyone who travels in the north
Absolutely.
comes back and...
You don't even need to drive the highway often to know that it's not safe often, if not all times. No. When you see a lot of transports on the road, you know that you're really paying a lot more attention to the road ahead of you.
Yeah, speeding, passing on the double yellow solid lines, there's a lot of scariness out there.
Yeah, not enough resting areas. You need more passing lanes. You need to make sure our roads are properly maintained. Put all that together and make sure that our drivers are qualified and properly trained to drive those transports, and we're going to have a lot safer highways in the north.
Yeah. Last time I went on a road trip with Kinsman, he made me drive into a snowbank just so he can go for a pee. Like, not enough rest stops. You got to hold on to that.
Don't bring any bottles with you when you drive?
No, he didn't.
No bottles.
Okay, so we have a list of things. So George Perry, who you're running against. There's a note to chat a couple things, but I know that when we chatted on Saturday, you issued a challenge, I guess is the better word.
Debate.
For a debate with Mr. Perry. So where do things stand?
That's something that I'm going to keep bringing up as much as possible, because I want to make damn sure that George hears this message. And I think the people of Timmins deserve to hear from their candidates. It's a very simple thing. We've always had a debate during our election campaigns, whether they be federal or provincial. And especially right now, like we're talking about a snap election in the middle of winter where people are already less engaged, we need to make sure that we do as much as possible to engage people in Timmins, to know who they're voting for, what their candidates stand for, because whoever we vote into office, the next 4 years is going to make a big difference. And debates is a big part of that. Debates engage people. They educate people on what we stand for as candidates, what we will bring to the table as in terms of being the next MPP for Timmins. And that's right, I'll say it again. I'm calling on George Pirie to accept to have a locally organized debate in Timmins, because the people of Timmins deserve that. And I'm sure he agrees with that himself. It's just unfortunate that Doug Ford and the Conservatives, kind of the same strategy they used last election, they don't want to speak to the media. They don't want to do debates. They have such an undefendable track record that debates are only going to be bad for them in terms of media attention. Even I've been speaking to media as much as possible, as I'm sure you're aware. And what they've been telling us, they've been reaching out to George Pirie's campaign, and they've not even been getting a word back, or they've been getting told that he's not doing interviews. So I think it's very unfortunate. But again, I hope that he hears my message. I hope that he does agree to do a debate, because I think that it's important to the people of Timmins. We have a couple of weeks left of this election, and people deserve to hear from the candidates what we represent and what we bring to the table for the next 4 years.
It's a good way. I've always, I don't know about you, Kinsman, but I've always voted based on, I've never been a party person. I've always been voted who I thought was the best person at the time of the election.
Best speaker and who could answer the questions.
The TSN guy that makes the picks, right?
The one that does the NHL picks for the playoffs.
I suggest you educate yourself.
But don't be doing that when you're going to the
to each
polls.
their own, Corey. We got to let everyone decide. But a debate was always a great way for me to learn a little bit more about the candidate.
Especially for across the board, but especially my generation, younger people who are just turning 18 or in the early 20s, and they've never really been into politics. Debates are a great way of engaging them in the process. They used to also engage even high schools in the process to get kids familiar with what elections are about, what politics are about, and what parties represent. We need to do as much as possible to engage everyone in the process, because like we were talking about earlier, democracy is the biggest gift that we have here in Canada. It's our right to go out and vote, and everyone should go out and vote. Like I said, I encourage everyone to vote for me as our next MPP. I think it'll be our best course forward, but no matter who you vote for, you should go out and vote. And debates is just a big tool to engage people in doing that and going out to vote. So
that's right. You have a note there, Kinsman. I'm very interested in. It's your last bullet point.
My last.
I'm interested in
what's
hearing
that,
what this. Can you even read it?
I can read that.
Bifocals?
Yeah,
okay.
I can do that.
We're testing you here.
Yeah, testing the long wait times in the ER and surgeries.
No, that wasn't what the point was. Oh my God, Kinsman.
Funding under Gilles Bisson and Pirie.
Yeah. So last election, a lot was going on. There was a lot of factors that would determine the results of the last election. And I think that one of them is that Gilles Bisson was in office for 32 years. People have always been told that if we vote for a member of parliament who's on the government side, that we'll get more funding. And so far, that hasn't been the case for Timmins. All the things people think have been brought by George Pirie to Timmins right now are actually things that Gilles had worked on with the community before, while he was still in office. Things like the Golden Manor project, that's still being constructed right now. That was funding that was committed to while Gilles was still in office, because he worked with the community and advocated his butt off at Queen's Park and bugged the heck out of the ministers to make sure that we got funding for that. Things like the Centre Culturel La Ronde. I'm a proud francophone from Timmins. Je parle français. I was born and raised in French, went to school and worked in French my whole life. So something like Centre Culturel La Ronde holds a lot of value to me. And again, it was funding that Gilles worked with them on, with the community, advocated for at Queen's Park. It was committed to by the Conservative government while an NDP was representing Timmins. The Centre de Santé Francophone, the Connecting Link project, which a lot of people are bitter about because it's sometimes annoying on our highways seeing all this construction, but it's necessary. And again, it was funding that was provided, that was brought to Timmins under Gilles' leadership while working with the community. So it just goes to show that at the end of the day, no matter what party represents our riding and what party is formed in government, what you need to have is a representative that will be at Queen's Park advocating as much as possible to the ministers and who are providing this funding, and that's how you get the job done. It really comes down to that, being the voice that Timmins needs and working your butt off to make sure that we get what we need.
Beautiful thing.
Being the voice for the people.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Was there anything else that you wanted to mention that we didn't have an opportunity to chat about yet?
let me think about that one. There's a lot of things that we could talk about. I could talk about a little bit more on my financial kind of background as well. So we talked about how I grew up in politics, but I also grew up in business. My parents owned a corner store locally here in town for over 10 years. My dad had a wholesale growing up. He brought me on the road with him, changed my diapers while selling to corner stores around Ontario. It's in my blood. It's not just politics, business is in my blood. I went to University at Hearst and I graduated with a bachelor's in business administration. I've always been rooted in business. I've always been in something. It's always been something that I will always be interested in. And so, and today I'm proud to consider myself what I call a Tommy Douglas New Democrat. I'm sure you're probably aware who Tommy Douglas is, but I'll explain it really quick. So Tommy Douglas was the Premier of Saskatchewan some years ago, and most people know him as the founding father of universal healthcare in Canada. That's a big deal. But what his NDP government did in Saskatchewan, the first thing they did was balance the budget, because the Liberal government before them had almost bankrupted Saskatchewan. So Tommy understood that they needed to be in a good financial position in order to support such an ambitious idea like universal healthcare. The next thing they did was they electrified rural Saskatchewan. They made sure that the farmers across the province had the means and the, well, quite frankly, the electricity to boost their production and make sure that the economy was strong. And then they introduced universal healthcare because they knew it would be sustainable for more than just a couple of years. And now today, more than 50, 60 years after, we're still benefiting from that dedication, that hard work. So having that business financial background and also being rooted in the NDP, you put all that together, and that's the type of ideology that I consider myself being as a candidate. Because when we introduce such innovative or important ideas like universal healthcare, we want to make sure that it's sustainable for more than just 4 years. We want to make sure it's sustainable forever. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very important thing to mention, because we do have ambitious ideas, but I know that to get there, we need to make sure that we can sustain it economically, and we need to be fiscally responsible doing so. The Conservatives have always been considered the fiscally responsible party, but they're just spending our money all over the place. These, the check side, the rebate, the one-time rebate checks I mentioned earlier, $200 one-time rebates to Ontarians cost us about $3 billion. Luxury spa in downtown Toronto Science Centre is going to end up costing us a couple billion as well. And breaking contract early with the beer store is going to end up costing us a couple of billion too. So these are all things that, as an NDP government, I have confidence in our, when we form government, and I have confidence in our leader, Marit Stiles, that we will be smart in the way that we bring the ambition that we want to bring to Ontario, because we understand that we need to be responsible and need to have common sense when it comes to spending. And that's what I believe in.
Well said.
Yes, definitely well said.
No kidding. Yeah. All right. Well, you listen. He wanted to know if we do a fist pound or handshake in here, Kinsman.
Okay.
Now, did you want Kinsman style or my style?
I'm a little bit scared of both, but I have to say.
Well,
I do a fist pound.
he does the fist pounds. We can do fist pounds as well.
Kinsman usually does.
Yeah, we can do this as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yes.
Kinsman usually goes top of the evening.
Top of the morning.
But however it is, you know, wherever you stand, I don't care if this sounds cliche. It's important to always say, get out, exercise. Your right to vote. Yeah,
that's right.
Please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have to be voting for me, although I encourage you to do so.
Yeah.
As long as you go out and vote, that is the important thing in this election.
Yeah.
We need better voter turnout, and we need people's voices in Timmins to be heard. We need change. That means you need to go out and vote.
Oh, wonderfully said.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate you coming on,
Yeah,
and
sure
we're going to see a little bit more. Corey is going to be providing us with an update, I believe, next week.
Yes, he is.
He'll be in talking about the campaign trail. And now, exciting news here, Kinsman. When we come back,
yeah, we're giving away
Wheel of Winning,
loot.
Corey.
Wheel of Winning.
Yeah,
Corey's
that's
going to
right.
hang around for that. We've got 4 passes to Imagine Cinemas. Someone's going to win that tonight. Yeah. And it's a family deal, 1 hour of bowling up to 6 people.
That's right.
At Midtown Bowl. So,
it's a beautiful
lots of
thing.
fun. It is.
All right, so we'll do that right after we come back. Roll it there, Ronnie.
Timmins' newest lunch spot is Chow Sandwich & Co. Stop in and let Ryan and Kennedy serve you chicken and pesto. How about a hometown, or stop in for a slice of their lemon coconut cake? Open Mondays 9 a.m. to 3, Tuesday to Friday 8 a.m. to 3, located at 177 3rd Avenue. Whether it's a birthday, wedding, or a corporate function, the Pop-Up Balloon Shop has you covered. Order your Valentine's Day balloon boxes now, just in time for Valentine's Day. Give them a call, 705-288-3253, and follow them on Facebook. And order a Sparks Pizza Greek Amore today at Sparks Pizza. It's a toga party in your mouth. Dine in at 206 3rd Avenue or order online at sparkspizza.ca. And try the all-natural cleaning products today with TNT's all-natural cleaning products. Safe for your family and safe for your pets. 705-406-4578. And support the Alzheimer's Society Cochrane-Temiskaming's Flower Campaign. Drop off a donation to any one of these amazing locations. For more details, visit alzheimer.ca/Timmins. Cater your next event with Anawapiskat Catering. They now are the sole catering providers for the De Beers Victor Mine Site. 705-267-5547. And save the dates, June 4th and June 5th at the MAC for the Canadian Mining Expo. Live demos, jackleg competitions, and more. Visit CanadianMiningExpo.com for more detail. J&R Custom Cabinets is having a flooring sale. Save 10% off Fusion flooring right now, and it's 100% water resistant. Inquire today at their showroom, 1150 Riverside Drive, or call 705-264-9692. And with more than 75 programs to choose from, your future career is awaiting you online at Northern College. Enroll today, northerncollege.ca. Lucian Transportation is hiring 310T, 310S certified mechanics and bus drivers. Bus drivers get a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and it's paid training. Drop off a resume today to 42 McChesney Road, Timmins, or call 705-360-4090. And early bird registration is still ongoing at Camp Bickle. Sign up now and save 10%. Sign up and check out their new website today at campbickle.ca. And happy 90th anniversary to the Schumacher Lions Club, serving our amazing community from 1935 to 2025. With over 45 years in business, people turn to Robert Champagne at Timmins Courier Service to get their packages moved. Get your packages sent today. Contact Robert now, 705-266-4285. Albert Seal and the team at Royal Lepage and Northern Realty Leaders are hosting a food drive at Best Buy, and they want you to come on by. Mark it off on the 22nd and 23rd at the Timmins Best Buy from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Drop off a food donation or just stop in and say hi. And the St. Patrick's Day Market with the Downtown Timmins BIA completely sold out. Happens Saturday, March 15th, 10 to 3 at the old Tweed and Hickory building. More details on the market can be found at downtowntimmins.com. Why buy it when you can rent it? Stop into Gord's Rentals today, 778 Riverside Drive, now serving the commercial, residential, and industrial sectors. She's the producer of Sportsman Channel Canada and Just Hunt Inc., Amanda Lynn Mayhew. And the Connectors and Co. hit the road to Canada or College. Follow Mel and Mel in North Bay for their February 27th show for episode 2 of their We Count talk show. For the best security guards, train detection and protection with Canine Patrol, it's Pat's Canine Protection and Detection Services. They also do mobile security patrols and alarms. Contact Martin Peel today, 705-288-7435. And 127 Floral Avenue is for sale for $199.9 with Jessica Gervais from Royal Lepage or Northern Realty Leaders. To book a showing now, call 705-360-7000. And book an ultimate pizza party at Midtown Bowl. Good for up to 6 bowlers, includes 1 pizza, 1 jug of pop, 6 $10 Fun Zone game cards, and it's only $139.99. The best part is they do the cleanup. Call today, 705-267-3500. Vote Corey Lepage for Timmins NDP. Corey's going to put the brakes on rising costs here in the north, hire new doctors, make the highway safer, lower your rent, and he'll also provide a grocery rebate. To make a donation and to request a sign or to volunteer with Corey, visit CoreyLepage.OntarioNDP.ca. And book a carpet clean and a strip and wax job today with DAP Cleaning Solutions. Residential commercial cleaning excellence guaranteed. Call Andrew N for your free quote, 705 465-3500. If your child was born in 2021, it's time to register them for kindergarten this fall with the Northeastern Catholic District School Board. Details on the Pope Francis and the St. Joe's open houses are online at ncdsb.on.ca. And for all your Rock on the River details, fundraisers, and more, you need to follow TFAC online. Do so now, TimminsFestivals.com. And the first and only First Nations-owned security provider in Northern Ontario is Advanced Security Protective Services. Call today, 705-267-5547. And there's more free skills this week with the PMHA for current U9, U11, U13, and U15 players. For ice times, check out the PMHA Facebook page. And there's a huge clearance sale on now at Canadian Tire Timmins. Exercise equipment, blowout, outdoor apparel, hunting, ice fishing, skidoo wear, and more. It's whilst quantities last, and it's on till the 28th. Jackpot days are always hot at Jackpot Time Timmins. Win double-line prizes every single session. Book your bingo seat now at 251 First Avenue. And book a seat now for our first ever NHL bus trip to Ottawa. Happens the weekend of March 28th through 30th for $665 per person, which includes Tisdale coach there and back, 2 nights hotel accommodations, and your game ticket to see the Sens and the Columbus Blue Jackets. To secure your seat, you can email us today, kinsandklomp@gmail.com. And get set for the Ontario Cup this weekend at the Porcupine Ski Runners. For race details and to volunteer and more, you can visit porcupineskirunners.com. And the next Storm home game is this Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. at the Igloo, when they take on the visiting Sioux Eagles. Get your tickets online now at ifstormjra.com. And it's Pink Shirt Day with Dare Timmins. Comes up Saturday, February the 22nd, 10 a.m. to 1 at the Timmins Public Library. English presentations at 10:30 and 12:30, and a French presentation at 11:30, and it's free to attend. And the Timmins Majors hit the road for 2 this week, back-to-back against the Sudbury Cubs. Follow all the action online at timminsmajors.com. And get a ticket for Captain America Brave New World. Opens just in time at Imagine Cinemas for Valentine's Day. Secure your seats now at imaginecinemas.com. And reserve a table now for the upcoming Miners Ball at Northern College. Happens Friday night, February the 21st at the Northern College Pub, 7 to midnight. Book a table now at northerncollege.ca.
All right, so Corey stuck
He
around.
wanted to stick around
for the Wheel of Winning.
Corey wanted to, not only watch the Wheel of Winning, he wanted to showcase the prizes.
You know, it's very equal. An election and the Wheel of Winning, equal level excitement. Can you see this? I'm throwing my hands in the air.
You're
like
doing
you
a
just don't
whoop,
care.
whoop. Is that what you say?
See how lame I look when I try and do
you
youthful
do.
stuff? Now, you take that as an example. Look how terrible.
Yeah, you're
all right.
taking us to a new level.
We're going to show you how fun this is there, Corey. So, Ronnie, play the video.
Get out your polka shoes.
Your polka shoes. So Ronnie's going to spin the wheel, Corey, and one winner
is going to win it all. 4 passes to Imagine Cinemas, and we've got a family hour of bowling at Midtown Bowl.
And the winner's KINZ and KLOMP.
Okay, KLOMP, you get the movie passes, and I'll take the bowling.
Roll it again,
Roll
Ronnie.
it again, Ronnie.
You know, last night Ronnie won, and we had to skip him. And what's going on with this?
We need to oil the wheel
What's
again.
going on with this Ronnie wheel when he's at home there? There we go.
Tiffany Collins.
Can you read that, Kinsman?
Yeah, Tiffany Collins. Congratulations.
Corey was supposed to read the name.
Oh, okay.
Tiffany Collins. I have to say this is not a bribe, but you now do have to go out and vote.
Yeah. Please vote for that, Tiffany. That is awesome stuff.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
Yeah, so if you can DM us your address, and we will drop that off for you.
We will drop it off tomorrow.
There you go.
Tiffany, so there you go.
All right.
You can go see the new Captain America.
Yes, opens up on Friday. Now, nationwide release Friday. I do believe Imagine Cinemas gets it in the Thursday night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They are
all
beautiful
the other
people.
theaters.
And of course, Nat over at Midtown Bowl, always a beauty.
Always amazing. Yeah, 1 hour family deal. Includes your shoe rentals up to 6 family members of having some fun at Midtown Bowl.
That could be your Valentine's Day plan.
It could be. Well, it landed on our name. I'm kind of disappointed.
Thank you to the pop-up shop. A lot of people didn't see this last night, but the pop-up
balloon shop. Yeah, Ashley Richards and her family.
Yes.
If you're looking for those Valentine's bouquets, they've got balloon bouquets. You can inquire today. The pop-up balloon shop. Follow them on Facebook, and again, get those orders in before Friday.
How many times on Friday are you going to say, do you choose me, Kinsman? Like, you just million times.
I look for those cheesy cards, yeah. But, you know, Tracy loves the cheese. So
she does?
Yeah, well...
she has no choice
that's
with
it.
you,
Well,
eh?
no choice.
No choice.
She likes the sense of humor cards just like I do.
All right, it's a beautiful thing. Good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Rick Lemieux, Timmins Comedy Festival.
Yes, Timmins Comedy Festival tomorrow night at 7.
Pero voy a salir, pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir, te voy a llamar. Cuando eso pase quíteme en el celular. Voy a salir, pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir, te voy a llamar. Cuando eso pase quíteme en el celular. La disco full y yo bailando contigo en mi mente. Disque pa' olvidarte pero más se siente. Ando desenfocado, no estés en mi lente. Como se miente. En el baño hay recuerdos, de todo me acuerdo. De esas locuras cuando estábamos cuerdos. Me ves que recuerdo, de todo me acuerdo. De esas locuras cuando estábamos cuerdos. Sea en la noche que te desnudé, me decías no te vayas, bebé. Al final fuiste tú quien se fue. Solo me quedé, pero voy a salir. Pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir, te voy a llamar. Cuando eso pase quíteme en el celular. Voy a salir, pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir, te voy a llamar. Cuando eso pase quíteme en el celular. Pero voy a salir, pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir, te voy a llamar. Cuando eso pase quíteme en el celular. Voy a salir, pásala bien de amor, yo no me voy a morir. Si me emborracho seguro te voy a escribir, te voy a llamar. Cuando eso pase quíteme en el celular. La disco full y yo bailando contigo en mi mente. Disque pa' olvidarte pero más se siente. Ando desenfocado, no estés en mi lente. Como se miente. En el baño hay recuerdos, de todo me acuerdo. De esas locuras cuando estábamos cuerdos. Me ves que recuerdo, de todo me acuerdo. De esas locuras cuando estábamos cuerdos. Sea en la noche que te desnudé, me decías no te vayas, bebé.